Start recording. Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Quickly, before Stephanie, our guest speaker, gets started, I wanted to go over our event for our What is Coaching Behind the Scenes. This time we're going to try, it's a week from tomorrow, and we're going to be doing a live event. And we have a format that's kind of set up, and we're going to ask people to basically share a live video and share their story within the event page. So if anybody is interested in being one of the coaches that shares their story, you know, the more stories, the better, because people may connect with your story more than they connect with my story. And the reason that we're doing it in a live event versus doing it on a Zoom is several reasons. One, people may be intimidated by getting on a Zoom and having people be seeing their face or knowing that they're on, but they may be willing to get on a live event, and just because they're just going to be watching videos, they're not going to have to like log into Zoom or anything. Number two, if we do it within the live event, every time we post and people comment and see the videos, first of all, they can watch it on their own time and their own schedule. Like, they don't actually have to be there during the live event to watch it. And so they can watch it later if they want to. Every time we post in that live event and every time people comment and all the energy that we get in that event, it's going to pop up on the news feeds of our friends that people attended that live event. So we may end up reaching people that are friends of friends that we would not reach otherwise, that are not going to end up, you know, being there because they wouldn't be on our live webinar, but they might see it because we're doing it within that live event. I did pick up from my mastermind. I do a Monday mastermind Zoom with 5-star diamonds and above elite coaches. And somebody gave me a posting schedule for that. So I shared that with Celia, and my intention and hope is that we post videos leading up to the event, not just the day of the event, that get people excited and get a lot of energy within that live event so that people are excited to actually attend. And if you guys want to be someone that shares your story, please, you know, message me or message Celia or post in the team page. Like I said, we want to hear from as many coaches as possible because they really connect with the coach stories. That's really what it's all about. Facts, you know, facts tell, stories sell. So they may not connect with my story, but they may have been invited by me, and they may connect with another coach's story and be like, whoa, I can really do this, because they see their self in that person, and they think I can really be a coach and I can really do this too. So that being said, that's all I wanted to talk about with the live event. We've been kind of chatting about it in a thread, and hopefully, you know, somebody will take the reins in organization and setting that up, because that's not my strength. And secondly, now let's get to our guest speaker, who I had the pleasure of meeting. Actually, I don't even know where we met. I think we just met through the 5-star wall, right? Okay, so we connected through the 5-star wall, and we started chatting because for whatever reason we had kind of the same thing going on in our businesses. And I think you actually reached out to me saying like, hey, I really connect with something that you shared. And Stephanie, she was actually, if you don't recognize her, she was one of the stories on the Super Saturday video a couple of times ago. Was it in January?
It was in April.
She was the ER doctor that was on the Super Saturday video. She signed up as a coach in July 2013. Her boyfriend is also doing this full-time with her, and she still practices as an ER doctor. She's a 5-star diamond elite 2015, and she's reached Success Club for 36 consecutive months. And she is going to talk to us today about a follow-up, which I'm really excited about because this is like my nemesis. I'm horrible with it, so I can't wait to hear what you have to share. And welcome, and thank you so much for being on our call.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I hope that what I have to share is worthwhile to you guys. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I like to do slides just to keep me organized and keep me going. So let me just go ahead and get rid of this. All right. So secret ingredients to hitting Success Club, because honestly, for me, the secret sauce to hitting Success Clubs are the follow-ups. And so I want to touch upon that. I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about me, just so you know my background, and then I'll dive right into the material. So like Marissa was saying, I am a emergency room physician. I also was an emotional eater. I had when I started back in July of 2013, what kind of brought me to Beachbody was the fact that I had a closet full of clothes that didn't fit me, and I was absolutely disappointed in myself. So I don't know if any of you guys can relate to that, feeling disappointed in yourself and kind of your body and where you are with your image, and kind of having clothes that didn't fit you. but I was tired, and I had always been overweight. I was an overweight child. And so this was during my busiest time of the year. So I actually became a coach during my busiest time of my life. I was an emergency medicine resident at Harvard, working 60 to 70 hours a week. And the overachiever in me was like, let's do something new. Let's start a business. I was also $300,000 in debt. It took me $300,000 to get my education. I'm proud to say that by the end of this year, that debt will be gone. And so that is, and I can talk about that if you guys want me to later on, if you have a question about that, but that's because of the help of Beachbody, not all Beachbody, but because of the help of Beachbody. And so I wanted more. I don't know if any of you can relate to that, wanting more in your life. I had spent 10 years of my life working towards a goal. I had thought I wanted to be a doctor since I was a child. I had spent so much of my life working towards that. And then when I accomplished it, I kind of was like, now what? I was missing something. And so I also was someone, I'm a traveler. I love to travel. And so I wanted that flexibility. And that's kind of what led me to Beachbody. And so I put together this collage just to remind me, just to show you guys a little bit of me. At the top is Luke, my boyfriend, like I said. So when I started, I actually was, I came across Beachbody because of Insanity. And I had the bootleg copy of Insanity, like the copied version from Luke's best friend who had sent him the bootleg copy. So, and I remember doing that workout and thinking I was in shape. And I remember it being soul crushing. But what I do remember from it is Shakeology during the, right after, and them talking about coaching. So do not discredit those people who have the programs and maybe got it on eBay or Amazon or whatever, however they got it, they potentially could be your next great coach or great kind of just best friend in this business. So do not discredit them. And so I did Insanity with Luke. Luke got amazing results. He was borderline high blood pressure at that time. After 8 weeks of that program, his blood pressure had dropped by 20 points. And so I was absolutely, so happy that had happened, especially because, I now had like my first, transformation story, and it was like living in my house. And then I was like, well, this program was too long for me. Like I said, I was really out of shape. I couldn't do burpees. I couldn't do high knees. I couldn't do anything. It was really bad. And T25 had come out. And so when I got the program, I remember I was thinking about getting the program, and I had a coach but I want to just preface this by saying that I knew no one who was a coach. And I was always on social media, and I knew no one who was a coach. So for what it's worth, and it's because I wasn't friending and liking and following coaches. I was following my professional friends, and none of them were coaches. And so it wasn't coming across my news feed like it does nowadays, because that's part of my network now. But I remember I was posting, and this girl randomly approached me, and I had been thinking about it, but again, I knew no one. She randomly approached me because I put like a picture of a recipe or something. And she's like, oh, you know what? You should become a coach. And mind you, and I was like, done. I was the easy sell. I won't lie. I was an easy sell. I was waiting for that person to tell me to do this, and I just needed that confirmation. And I remember when I got T25, I told myself, I'm going to commit to this program no matter what with Shakeology. Even if, and if all it does is get me into amazing shape, then it will be worth the $205 that I spent on it, because that's how much my challenge pack was. And it would be worth it. And if I can inspire one person to do this with me, then that will be the icing on the cake. That was my mindset coming in to this business. And so that before and after was 8 weeks of T25. And so I, from day one, was super transparent with my journey. I literally told myself, I'm speaking to that one person out there who needs to hear my story. I did not care what other people thought. I had my colleagues following me. I had my program director following me. I did not care, because I knew my mission and I knew my intention. And my intention was to reach that one person who needed to hear my story. And so on here, I have two girls, because I grew my business on social media. I grew it on Facebook and on Instagram. And when I started, I did have 1,000 friends on Facebook. And I know that's atypical. People usually have less. But I only had 200 friends 200 followers on Instagram. And so I've grown my team through those medias. And so for those of you who think because maybe you live in a small area or because maybe you're saturated with coaches in your area that you can't grow this business, that's not true. I've grown this business. That's the beauty of social media, is that you can grow it all over the country, and in Canada, like we know. And so I also have on here 2 pictures, one of me on the Great Wall of China and one of me in the Serengeti in Africa, because a lot of people ask me, why did I go into this? Why did I choose network marketing? And it was because of this. It was because of freedom and flexibility, guys. I wanted my time back. I had spent 12 years just giving away my time, like sacrificing my time, not being able to go to friends, weddings and parties and, going out literally. And I know, Marissa can relate to that. Like when you have to work and when you're working towards a goal, especially in healthcare or law or whatever, your career takes precedence. And so I wanted that time back. And I was like, how amazing would it be if I can do something from my computer anywhere around the world? And this was like me living out my dream, because this was last summer. And because of Beachbody, I had grown it for 2 years before I had finished my residency. I was able to go on an around the world trip and be able to take and not start my real job as a physician for 4 months, because I could use my Beachbody salary to live off of those 4 months. And so there I was in China and in Africa and in Russia, and I went all over the place, and I toured during the day, and in the evening, I worked my business, right? So understanding that even though I was touring, I was working my business in the evenings. And to me, that's flexibility, and that's why I work this business. That's what appeals to me to this business, is the lifestyle. And so if you're trying to appeal to professionals like myself, realizing that fitness is going to be the first step, but truly what's going to hook them in is going to be you showing them what the potential of the lifestyle can be. That's what's going to really hook them in. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Success Club, because I'm not sure if there's kind of a mix or what the mix is in here, but in case there are newer coaches hitting in here, hitting Success Club is non-negotiable, and it's really, it's basically relied upon consistency in adding new people, consistency in forming your new people, consistently in actually inviting those people, and then consistency in following up. And so you'll notice that the main word is consistency, guys. I will tell you that I've worked this business for 3 years, regardless of working, 14-hour days or moving or deaths in my family or anything. I never missed a day in my business. Never one day did I miss in my business. So if you want to build this business, realize that this is your business and that it's up to you to show up every single day. And for us, our social media, our Facebook, our Instagram, our Snapchat now, that's our storefront. And if you miss a day, this is a type of business that is really unforgiving to you missing a couple days or missing a week, or God forbid, miss a whole month. And then you show up and you come back thinking you can just pick up where you did. You cannot do that, guys. Not if you take this business seriously the way that I do, the way that Marissa does, the way that other people on your team do. You need to show up every single day, no matter what. That consistency is important. If you're not consistent, then you're wasting your time. So tracking. There's someone who's like, I don't know, there's someone who's loud, but okay, so tracking. So what I want you guys to understand, you need to decide, you need to be tracking your business. I was really hesitant in doing this for a really long time, because you know what? I am super disorganized. Like, I am the worst when it comes to organization. I do not follow a schedule. I hate lists. And so I am like, I'm kind of that person that doesn't have, I don't have a system. I never had a system for a long time. And I've always kind of been anti-system just for my own personal life. I don't know why, but that's just the way I am. But you need to track. And it wasn't until I started tracking in the way that I'm going to show you that it really took off my business. Not took off, but I really felt more I was getting more, more bang for my buck in terms of my time. So you need to decide what works best for you and stick with it. Realizing that you may be a paper person, and guess what? That's okay. If you're a paper person, then stick to paper. If you are an electronic, you like Excel, you like Google Docs, you like, then stick to that. Don't kind of feel that because I'm doing this. And I want to just kind of preface it by saying, and I'm going to talk about Streak. I use an electronic way. It does not mean if you have a way of keeping track of your business, stick with that. This is just something new. If you haven't heard of this, or you haven't tried this, or you do not have a way, this is the way that I do it. And I'm just going to show you, kind of in this talk. So here's, your typical success tracker on paper for those of you who do paper, and then electronic trackers, like I said, Excel spreadsheets, Google Documents, Streak, and this all goes in. Why do you need tracking? Because you need to be able to know who you need to follow up with. And so I use Streak. Why? Because it's on, it's free, it's on Google Chrome, it's very easy to send mass follow-ups, very easy to know where you are in the conversation with people. That is incredibly important. I should be able to ask you where you are, like how many people you have sent out your sign up links to, or how many people are you in your script for, which for me is sending recommendations. How many people are you at with, maybe script one. Think of all the people who you maybe got to just that, script one, which for me is asking like, what are your goals? What have you done in the past to reach those goals? That's all part of my script one. But think of how many times you send out those questions and those people go crickets, right? You maybe forget about, where you are in conversation with them. If you don't have a way to track where you are in conversation with them, that's money you're leaving on the table. Those are people you're not able to help because you're not knowing to go back to those people. And so understanding that is super, super, super important to track your business. And so here's Streak. I wanted to give you guys an idea if you haven't used it. I don't know, have any of you used Streak? Raise your hand if you use Streak. Okay, awesome. So some of you do, some of you don't. So this will be, maybe I'll convince you, those of you who don't. But so here's Streak. And this is how my Streak is formed, is kind of set up for my sales. But the idea is that you have pipelines, which are basically steps in your conversation. You're taking your customer or your prospect, coach prospect or sales prospect, from beginning, that initial forming stages, to close, where you send them the link to sign up. And so you have different steps. And so what's nice about Streak is that it allows you to know, you can move them along in the steps, and it allows you to know where you are in the conversation with them. So I have an email confirmation, I have script one, I have, script three, my sent price, customer versus VIP, sent sign up. So I know, so like, for example, if I were to go, to any one of you and say, how many of you have you, how many people have you sent prices to? And if you can't tell me that, that's not good, guys, right? Like, that's not good. If you don't know that information, how are you going to know that you should follow up with them? Because I will tell you that 90% of my current Success Club points come from follow-ups. They do not come from that initial contact. My current leads today, or anyone that comes into contact with me today, those are typically potential sales months from now. And so understanding that if you're not following up with people, you're really, really losing the ability to be able to help them, because you need to be tracking them. So this is my coach prospects. It's the same idea. I have a script one, sent a webinar. I have a script three, considering signing up, sent sign up. So it's a very similar process. And you'll see here, this is what I like about it. You can put notes in here. So like, you can write little notes in it. You can know how many days they've been in this stage. The date of the last email. So this is what I do, guys. I look at the date of the last email. This is an older kind of snapshot, so this is not new. But for me, I am always trying to get people through this pipeline, because a lot of people get lost. They get they're either not seeing my email, or maybe they're not seeing my message. And that's why you see here, I have 340 people who I've sent a webinar to. And I'm like, hello, where are you in this conversation? And so, but what I do is, because I know, okay, this was March 10th, let's say, every week, I try to make it no more than a week, for that last email. That's me personally. That's only, though, to get through the script. And what I mean when I say through the script is going from script one to either a close or a sale or a no. I want to get a no. Like, I don't want people left somewhere in the middle of my steps. I would rather hear them tell me no, so that I know I need to follow up with them, because those people who tell me no, guess what? They go into my monthly follow-up, and I follow up with them every single month. I send a message just saying, hey, how are you? Not sure if this is a better time for you. You had expressed interest in the past. We have some great specials. Please let me know if this is something you'd be interested in doing this month. Super simple. I send it out every single month. And you know what? People come through every single month, 1 or 2 people. And you know what? That's simply from just following up and having the organization to know where I am in conversation with them, so that I know to follow up with them. Incredibly important. So tracking and consistency is what will lead you to Success Club. So I wanted to show you guys this, the compound effect of inviting only one person per day. Follow me with this. If you are inviting one person per day, that means you have 30 new contacts in that month. That means you're forming those 30 new contacts Let's say, for example, you only actually invite 50% of them. Inviting is actually saying, do you want to do a challenge group with me, or something like that, to that extent? That is the actual invite. That's not the forming, right? That's the actual invite. So let's say you invite only 50% of them. So out of those 50, that 50% of people you invited, you'll be following up with them, later on that month, because obviously you need to follow up. So that's in April. If you do that consistently, you'll see here that what ends up happening is that your follow-up list continues to grow. And so that by August, you have close to 80 people already starting, at the end of August, you already have 80 people that you can follow up with. That's 80 leads going into September that you can follow up with for Potential Success Club in September, right? But you have to be doing that consistently. Now, let's say what happens if you do 3 people a day. Same idea, but now you do it by 3. If you're in April, by August, now you have close to 240 people. So you have to be doing this consistently, and realize that the compound effect will be in your favor. So now you have close to 240 people that you are potential leads for you to follow up with going into September. That's going to be, and as that grows, guys, I have like 1,000, over 1,000 people to follow up with if I needed to. So when I'm having if I have a hard month or whatever, I'm hitting my follow-ups really quick, because again, just because I message them doesn't mean they're going to get back to me, right? Just because I email them doesn't mean they're going to get back to me. I don't rely on anyone until they hit that submit button and they purchase. So, if you're really putting all your eggs in one basket and waiting to hear from one person or two people to hit your Success Club for this month, that's not how you should be doing it. Every single day, you need to be following up with people. You need to be inviting new people, but every single day you need to be adding people. Do not put all your eggs in one basket and wait for 2 or 3 people to get back to you. So new invites and follow-ups are key. So like I said, so by December, if you follow that, look at that. By December, adding 3 people per day, you're close to 427 people you are inviting, by December. So going into the new year, you're already going in with 430 potential people to follow up with. Like I said, I'm telling you guys, this is where Success Club is. It's not in those new people who say, yes, I'm interested, tell me more information. That's just the beginning process. It's the follow-ups that's where you're gonna find your Success Club. So follow up, follow up, follow up. So having some sort of system. So if you do not have a system in place to know who your follow-ups are, then how are you going to know who to follow up with? By being unorganized, you're going to lose out on the opportunity to help many people, and you will lose out on many sales. And I wanted to show you guys that, again, my goal is to move them all to follow-up stages. And so you'll see here that most messages go to spam. And so you have to keep following up. Don't feel like you're bothering them. Most messages go to spam. And so the more that you follow up with them, the more that it's going to probably break through. And you don't know how many times I get a message and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm seeing this message for the first time. Or, yes, I'm still interested. I'm so sorry. I've been so busy. XYZ, showed up. But imagine how many of you stop after you stop hearing from them on the first try or the second try. I am relentless in my follow-ups. I do not care. And I think a part of it is too because of me. I am someone that people need to follow up with me like crazy. I'm always like forgetting things, or I'm always just like putting it on the side. And so I need that constant follow-up myself. So I think because I'm like that, I kind of don't feel bad being like that with other people. But just my goal, so just kind of keeping that in mind is that my goal is, for me, my goal is to follow up every 5 to 10 days in order to move them along the pipeline, like I said. And once they're in the follow-up stage, I follow up with every single one of them every single month. So just kind of, giving you guys ideas. This is how I run my business. And an example of why this is important. So I had 205 people still waiting right here to hear back to confirm their email. 10 days had gone by and nothing. I sent a simple mail merge. That's what's nice about Streak, is you can send a mail merge, and at least 20 people responded back. Just from that, so imagine I had done this on Messenger, or I had done this in a way that I wasn't going to follow back with them, I would potentially lose out on the potential to be able to form those people. And who knows, some of those people may have turned into challengers, but the idea is that they got back to me. And so how many of you are losing people and leaving people because you're not following up with them, because they went, all of a sudden you send them one message and you said, and they didn't get back to you. Okay. So, follow up with them in 3 days, or follow up, and send them another message, follow up with them again. Do not be afraid to follow up is basically what I'm trying to say. And so a prospect got back to me, and I wanted to show you. It took me 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts to reach them. And she ended up buying, you know what I mean? Because she, it was that consistency. And literally I always, when my subject lines are always like, still interested. I mean, guys, sometimes I'm like saying like, please reply to me. Like, you really do have to coerce people and really do have to stay on top of them. So do not feel bad. Like literally I'm like, regarding, curvy girl, that's my thing, is the curvy girl boot camp, or, please reply. And I'm always just trying to tell them, because I want to hear no. I'd rather hear no than you not say anything to me, because then I know where you are and I know how to follow up with you. And so you must be consistent with following up with your prospects. And so I want you to think of all the conversations you have had and ask yourself if you're following up with them effectively and where all those conversations are. And so I wanted to give you guys ideas of my follow-ups, and I literally keep it really simple. I think a lot of people overthink the follow-up process, and I really do keep it simple. It's like, hey girl, how are you? I'm doing well. I usually try to have one line that's like, busy in the ER. I wanted to follow up with you on our last convo about helping you reach your fitness goals. I have my next group starting in 2 weeks. Wanted to know if you would be interested. Same thing. Hey girl, I'm well, busy in the ER. You notice they're all the same. You had expressed interest in one of my fitness posts in the past. I sent you an email and never heard back from you. Would you still be interested? Let me know. Hey girl, wanted to follow up with you. I have 1 spot left for my challenge group. Please let me know if you're interested. Really simple. And I send the same follow-ups in different forms, several different ways. So, how are you? I've been super busy. Just wanted to follow up to see if you had a chance to see the webinar. This is where what's nice is then you can personalize it, because I know where I am in the conversation with them, right? I know that these are people like this person, this message would go out to the people who I've sent a webinar to. But if I didn't have that organization, it would be more mass message, and this makes it seem a little bit more personalized. Also with Streak, you can take this out, whereas the hey girl, and it can say their name. For example, I typically just do hey girl, but it can also say like, hey Marissa, hey Jane, whatever. And so, hey girl, how are you? I've been so busy. Just want to follow up and see if you had any questions I could answer. I sent you the sign up link and cannot wait to help you get started. Let me know if you have any questions and when you were thinking of ordering. And so again, that aggressive follow-up is so important. Do not feel like you're bothering them, because again, a lot of times they're either not seeing your message, they either looked at your message, it came across their screen, it didn't process, and then life got the best of them and then they forgot about it, right? Think of how often that happens to you. Or maybe they're just not, they feel ashamed or they're bothered by it. Sometimes I just say at the bottom, whether you're interested or not, I would just simply like to know, no hard feelings. Like, I just want to know how I can best serve you, how I can best follow up with you. Please just get back to me. Little sentences like that to allay in case they are feeling like they're not getting back to me and I'd be upset with them. I put those in there sometimes as well. And so that's kind of like my follow-ups. I keep it really simple, having a tracking system, having a way to know where you are in conversations with them, knowing that your majority of your Success Club points will not come from new prospects this month. And I think if you understand that, it won't, and you understand that it's about the consistency and the following up, I think many of you would, see more success if you realize that's where the Success Club points are. And that's where I'm getting my points from, where I know a lot of other leaders are getting their points from. It's all in the follow-up. And so one thing, when I was doing this kind of presentation and putting this together, another leader in my group said, it's great if they're doing their follow-ups and they're posting, or they're doing their follow-ups, but if they're not posting correctly, realizing that when you plant that seed and when you start forming, if you're going to be working hard to get all those initial contacts and create the follow-ups, then also realizing that you also need to be consistently posting on your social media and adding value through your social media. And I think if you're adding all these people, you're following up with all these people, realize that they are silently watching you behind the scenes. And so understanding the importance of that, and that now all of these people are watching you, they're watching your posts. And so you need to be posting consistently. And I wanted to this is just a couple quick slides of ideas of kind of, when this is Sophie, one of the girls on my team, and she is super transparent in her journey. She's someone who battled through depression and suicide, is a single mom, and people love her. She shares her heart through her words. Obviously, what I want to say is you don't have to be wordy. You don't have to have long paragraphs, but realizing, like, almost like the National Wake Up Call said today, right? Documenting your journey, documenting your life. That's what we do as Beachbody coaches. And so, you know, you need to help them see the value in investing in you and in our products. And you do that through your posting. So posting about your interests to attract your avatar, posting about your upcoming challenge groups consistently. When I started as a coach, I had 3 posts consistently. You guys can go back to my Instagram and look. Every 3 posts, it was a workout picture with a call to action to join my next challenge group. It was an inspirational quote, and it was a food. It was something that I ate that day, like clockwork. If you go back, like, to when I first started, every 3 posts, like clockwork. And mind you, I didn't know what I was doing, but you know what? I was like, well, I'm going to be consistent with this, and I'm going to invite, you know, to a challenge group, because I know that that's how I need to make sure that people know that I can help them, right? You know, I always tell coaches, like, if I were to go to your page right now, would I know that you are offering something if I were to look in your top 3 to 4 posts, right? Would I know? Because honestly, to be honest, that's as much of my attention that you're going to get, to be honest. I'm going to look at your top 2 to 3 posts. I'm going to look and see if you're offering something. And if you're not offering something, I'm going to say this person's not offering something. So I want you to think about that. When you have people coming to your page, whether it's Instagram or it's Facebook, they're only looking at your top posts. I recently had a coach who was like, well, I have all this information in my album and I documented so well in my album. I'm like, nobody looks at your album. Like, you know, like, I don't, you know, even though you've done all this work, realizing that you need to stay active and always be posting so that it's fresh in your timeline. Posting about challenger and fellow coach successes. If you are a new coach and you don't have that before and after yet, maybe talking about your transformation energy-wise, talking about your transformation with how you're feeling, your mindset, sharing stories from people on your team. I'm sure you guys have plenty of fantastic stories throughout your team that you can share. I feel like a lot of coaches feel like they're being fake when they share, like, other people on their team and they don't have their own first transformation. Know that you can do that as well. And then highlighting what you're excited about regarding coaching, especially as a new coach. I will tell you that I talk to a lot of successful coaches, and when I say successful, meaning they're 6-figure earners, they have huge teams, and a lot of them are really consistent in saying that as they grow, it's hard for them to relate to the newer coaches. And it's hard for them to make that connection, knowing that if you're a newer coach and if you're someone that you're still really young in your business in terms of your team, you guys have so much to offer, just so much to offer people. You are where they're most relatable to. Use that to your advantage, because as you grow, it's like, I get a new coach now who comes on, they see me post something, I get so many likes. They don't know that connection. They don't see my 3 years of hard work. They only see me now, and they don't realize that I was where they were. So know that you guys, where you are in your journey, fitness-wise, business-wise, you are at your most relatable, opportunity right now. And then be authentic, right? At the end of the day, nobody wants to see only your highlight reel. Life is not that perfect, right? So be authentic, share your struggles, share your failures, making sure that you're doing those things, because that is incredibly important. If you're going to be doing all the work in inviting people and following up with people and creating these conversations, knowing that if you're not posting, the people that you're having those conversations with, they're going to be looking at your social media page to know if they should invest in you. And that's it. So the secrets, I would say, are tracking, following up with everyone. Like I said, even if someone tells me no, I will say I already have a 2017 list started. Like, even if someone tells me like a hard no, like I get a sense, guess what? I'm still going to talk to them in 2017. I'm still going to say, hey, just wanted to follow up with you. It's a brand new year. Wanted to see if you're, interested in getting started with your fitness, et cetera, et cetera. They're still following me. They're still seeing my success. I don't give up on people. Even if they tell me that hard no, I will always continue to follow up with them. And I've already started 2017. Consistently showing up to your business and your storefront, incredibly important, guys. I can't stress that, more than enough. And then sharing you authentically and showing your audience why they should invest in you and the products. Knowing that when you're starting those conversations, they're going to be looking at your posts on social media to see if it's worth their investment. So that's it. That's all I had for that. Let's see. Anyone have any questions? Let's see, Kristen, I'm tried Streak, but I feel like I'm more disorganized using the system. I just can't get organized. I think, like I said, it's a matter of if you are, it's really kind of trying. It does take a little bit of time to get used to Streak. And it's not for everyone. I know that not everyone likes, electronic, but it's really, if you find that you're more of a paper person, then sticking to that, but realizing that you need to find something, whether it's Streak or whether it's not Streak or it's paper or it's Excel. I mean, just something so that you know where you are, so that you know who you need to follow up with.
I don't have it as organized as you do at all. Like having them in the different stages, like I guess I don't update it enough. But I did send out like a mass mail of like when I started my challenge group, I put like for all my people that had been in free groups before and people that were like challenge group prospects. I just started using Streak like a few months ago. And last month was the first month that I sent like a mass mail at the end of the month, and I had a challenge pack enrollment from it. She was like, okay, I'm ready to do this now. And I was like, bam, it works. Cause I've been like slowly plugging away at it, just like getting them entered in, So I think Streak is amazing.
Streak is, and I will just forewarn you too, because I don't want you to get into the same mistake I did. If you're going to be mass mailing, just be careful. Don't do more than like 250 in a day, which is what I was doing. And I got in trouble for that through Gmail. So just do smaller quantities.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know, kind of moving forward. One other thing I wanted to show you guys, now that you just said.
How do you get in trouble? What do they do?
They blocked me for 24 hours. I couldn't send any email. I could receive email, but I got placed in Gmail jail. So it exists, and I got blocked for 24 hours. So I created a second email. So now I have 2 emails that I work the same way, so that I try to send no more than 100 a day, in terms of my follow-ups. When I do that, I'm okay. I think it was because I was like doing like 300 a day. So don't do that. It looked spammy or whatever.
Yeah.
But learn from me, because I did not know that can happen. I was like, damn it, my email. And so, but I wanted to also show you guys that, okay, before Streak was invented, there's also labeling on Gmail. If you find that you don't like Streak, you can also label your emails and search for people on via labeling. So that's also another way in case you're trying to get organized. And then if you are someone that uses your business messenger on Facebook, I don't know if you guys realize that you can label that as well. Did you guys know that you can label? So let me show you, because this is relatively new. So when you go to your this is another way now to stay organized. So I'm actually going to be doing more kind of both Streak and Messenger. But when you have a conversation, 2 things. You can apply a label right over here in the corner. It has to be on your computer though. You have to set it up on your computer, and then you can access it from your phone. So I have, for example, a sales prospect, coach prospect. Maybe I'm awaiting their email because I want to send them an email. But you can label your prospects. Like over here, I have script 3. So I know that I'm at script 3 with them right here. You can see script 3, sales prospect. So let's say I wanted to search for all my script 3s, or maybe I want to search for all my people that I'm awaiting their email. I can just go filter over here, filter by awaiting their email. You see that I have 49 people that I'm waiting for their email. So I'm going to click here. And so this will be all those people brought up in a filtered way. And so definitely using labels to your advantage, right? And then the other thing I want to show you when it comes to just kind of being organized is over here. I don't know if you guys know that you can also create your own scripts, your saved replies. You can do this both on Google and on Messenger now. And so over here you can do, and so I have all my, not all of them yet because I'm going back in there, but I have my challenge group explanation and questions, coach, like what, 21-day fix price, like what I would say when I'm ready to send them the price for the 21-day fix. So this is all here so that when I go here and let's say this person was interested in the 21-day fix, I can easily just click here, put this in, and it automatically puts it in there. Look at Chris. I'm like watching Chris. You can automatically put it in here and you don't have to keep copying and pasting, right? It saves every little thing to save time, right? So this is not new to Messenger, but the labeling is relatively new to Messenger. So I just wanted to put that there. That's also an option in terms of staying organized, because if you label things as you're going along, maybe it's you sent them a sign up. Maybe you want to know the people you sent a sign up, or maybe you want to know where you are, script 4 with them, or, where you are. Maybe you're further along and you don't want to lose that prospect. You want to be remembering to follow up with them. You can use this system as well, especially if you are, more using the Facebook Messenger. Let's see. And then it's the same thing with Streak, which is why I like Streak, or even Gmail. You don't even have to use Gmail to get it, but if you're on Gmail, it's the same thing with the saved messages. You know that too, Marissa, right? The saved replies. Okay. But the idea is that, yeah, okay, good. The idea is that, guys, you can create snippets. So like for me, when I'm going to go and tell someone like a script 1, like here are all my saved replies, it's going to be all here. So for example, I have all my scripts here. So, I have, script 1, challenge group explanation, initial questions. I put that in there and then it automatically populates. So you can do that in Streak via the saved message, via the snippets. Or if you're not using Streak, you can also use canned messages if you're not using Streak. So if you're using canned messages, it's the same idea, but if you didn't have Streak on your Gmail and you wanted to just be a little bit more organized in your email, you can also use canned responses, which is the same idea. So just kind of giving you guys kind of the 2 ways that you can keep all your scripts in there organized, both in Gmail, and I don't know anything about Yahoo or any other mail system. I use Gmail. And then obviously your Facebook. Kristen, you had a question?
I just have a quick question with Streak, because I started using it when I had a dark post go crazy. So I was trying to filter all these people in it and I got really disorganized. So I had a pipeline to filter people for invites all the way through like challenge packs and and then I had a separate pipeline for free groups. So my thing was like I felt like I was creating more work for myself, because I would always constantly have to try to find people, or someone would be found somewhere else and there was duplications. Like, do you run into that, or is that just something that
so for me, if there's a duplication, when I go to put in the email, it'll show me if that person's already been in my Gmail before, and then I will then go and seek out that email and seek out that box, right? Because I would have created a box for them if they are in my system, and see where I am in the like some people I get, for example, who reply to my coach prospect ad, who have also replied to a coach sales ad, not a sales, but like a challenger ad. And then I'm just like, okay, which one do you want? Do you want information on just the sales, or do you want information on kind of coaching as well? So I would know, but so not all the time. I don't run across that, but when I do, it'll automatically pop up that I have another box with that email.
And then if you have so many, and I'm only asking because mine is a hot mess and I was like, I cannot do this. I cannot even handle it. So if you have 300 people like in one section of your pipeline, like how do you stay organized and navigate your way through? Because for me, I just find it to be very overwhelming when.
So as I'm kind of going, the key is to always be updating it. Like, obviously, if I get an email from someone and I reply to them and I know that it's the next step, I automatically move them to the next step. And so, like, let's say, for example, let's say I sent a message. Let me see. Let me open up my pipeline here. Let's go to sales, for example. Let's say for whatever reason, I decided I wanted to email, 10 of these people all at once via a mass message, right? So let's say I emailed all these people. Once I send the mail merge, let's say I decided I was going to follow up with them in September, and I created a part over here. You see how I have October follow-up, September follow-up. Let's say I wanted to, once I sent this follow-up, I wanted to move them to September, because I figure, hey, if I don't hear from them now, I want to remember to follow up with them in September. I would just, as soon as I send the mass email, I will just, just automatically move them over here by double clicking and move all these people over to that part of the pipeline. So I stay really active with moving my people and updating. If you don't update them, then yes, it can get overwhelming. I can't hear you.
Well, because I don't want to keep asking questions if it's going to. So this is my thing. So you have different pipelines. So this one says sales.
Correct.
And then how do you, like, if you move through and you have someone who decides they want to buy a challenge pack or a coach prospect, how do you actually physically, and I'm asking because I've watched videos and I just can't seem to get it.
So for example, let's say these 3 people over here, I'll do it right now actually, because I have, where are they? June, right here. So these people signed up already. So Kayla signed up already. Actually, let's do Tori. Tori signed up already. So let's say I want to move her to my customer pipeline, right? Because now, so I would click into her box and then I would go up here to this little arrow right here next to her name and I would move her to a different pipeline. And so I would move her to customers. So then I
was clicking on the wrong thing. Okay.
So then I would move her to customers and now she's in customers. See, now it changed. So let's say I sent her a welcome email. I would then immediately say bought and sent welcome email and put her in that part of the pipeline. So for my customers, I have, if they're a free lead, an ultimate reset customer, if they've told me they've been interested in coaching, and I just try to organize it that way. Awesome. Anything else? Any other questions? Cool beans.
Well, I thought that was awesome. Thank you. I'm definitely not as organized as you are. I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this and look at your pipelines and how you move people along, because I was just using it as like every 30 days I follow up and invite them to my free group.
Yeah, no, I actively use them. I mean, I think it's a combination. And I'm actually now going to go, I do both email and now I'm going to go back to Messenger. So I'm going to do both. Again, I had stepped away from Messenger just because, like I said, they didn't have a way to stay organized. And now with the labeling, I feel like that's a bit better to stay organized. I felt like I lost so many people in follow-up in the beginning, like, because I did everything on my Messenger and I would just kind of go to like,
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, and I would just scroll down to like, pick a number and like start following up with them and like just kind of look through. And that's not a very efficient way, to kind of go through it. But that's how I did it in the beginning. I mean, I didn't find Streak it took me to almost like maybe like 8 months ago. So I did it the traditional kind of Messenger way, but it wasn't effective and I didn't feel organized. At least with this, I know where I am. Even though I do feel a lot of email does go to spam, it's at least good to know that what I try to do though is that I try to make sure a lot of my leads come from Facebook or Instagram. And so as long as I can connect them back to the Facebook kind of person, then I feel like it's okay. Cause like right now, for example, I have like 300 people in script 1. And if what I'm going to do now, because I have so many people that are lost in the script, I'm going to go back to a pen and paper just to get those people and just try to reach out to them on Facebook and just try to see if I can get them that way. But I love it, but need a computer to do that.
Do most of those contacts come from ads on Facebook?
Mine do, yeah.
Yeah, Facebook ads.
I run ads. I started running ads a year into my business. So I've been running ads now for 2, and then I get some from Instagram as well. But the majority of my leads come from ads.
From ads on Instagram or
ads? No, ads only on Facebook. On Instagram, I don't run ads. Instagram is just if I do a call out. I've just been focusing a lot on just growing my Instagram and just getting it to a good number, using just kind of using the hashtags related to my avatar and being really specific. I have a really specific market, probably similar to yours. I have a really specific market. And so I just use hashtags related to that. And then I grow, I kind of grow it that way. But then my leads from Facebook do come from ads.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't perfected this. I get a lot of leads for free groups from Facebook ads, but not for like challenge groups and coaching yet.
Yeah, it took me a while to find the I basically have used like the same 2 to 3 pictures, for this past like year and a half because they worked, like I was like, oh, this seems to work for me. And then I just keep adding money to it.
Yeah, that's what you just, once you find one that works, you can keep just
Right. Once you find, and it doesn't have to be a professional photo, guys, in case you're looking into, some of my best ads have been just me, a selfie, just smiling, you know, asking for kind of an application or asking for people to join my challenge group. So I always play around with it because I'm always looking for something new and always trying to get my cost of engagement low. So in terms of my investment in it, so it all depends.
Yeah, I haven't, do you do dark posts or do you do live posts?
So I do both.
Okay.
So what I do is that when I post, so I'm right now I'm at a point where I'm working to try to see what's going to improve my engagement on my business page, because I do not have good engagement on my business page, even though I have a lot of followers. So I'm really trying to see what I can do to improve that engagement. I think someone said they had started a brand new page. Was that you who said that?
I just scrolled your page because I was like, okay, let me see. Because you had a lot of messages in your inbox. So I was like, let me check out her page. I was like, well, her engagement is not that good, but it looks like
so my main ads are dark post. But so what I do is whenever I do have a post that is relatively engaging for me, I will boost that. Just in terms of my life, you know, if I have a post, or if I have a post, maybe it's a picture of my current results or something that's not a before and after, but just like a current, like a single photo, and it does well, then I try to boost it. Or maybe
through the power editor. Do you use the power editor?
I use the power editor for the dark posts.
Okay.
And then I boost, just like a boost post for if it's actually on my timeline, I'll just boost it.
One thing that I can probably say is, instead of boosting it, because Jesse Reagan that does that social media, if you want a little tip, is instead of boosting it, use the power editor and create the ad.
Yeah.
And create the ad instead of boosting it, create an ad for page post engagement.
Okay.
Because he says never boost.
Okay.
His first thing that he teaches us is do not boost a post ever. He said it actually harms your engagement on your page. He said if you're going to create an ad, go into the power editor and click page post engagement.
Okay.
And then you can click on your actual post. Instead of putting a dark post, you can click on your post. I do it for a lot of my videos because I want my videos to be viewed. So I create ads for my videos. I'm trying to bump up the amount of engagement that I get on my videos.
Yeah, the videos are great ways. I know those are the least, you pay less for that engagement.
Yeah, and it's like 1 cent per engagement.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go back to. I used to do that, and then I started I used to do it through the power editor, and then I started boosting them, the ones that did well, and so I'm gonna go back to doing it through the power editor.
That's just what Jesse says. I don't know if it's true or not. That's just what Jesse says. He's the one that's doing the Facebook ads training that a lot of Beachbody coaches are.
I know. I'm tempted to do it. I'm like, should I do this thing? I definitely have seen. I have a girl on my team doing it right now. So, but yeah, no, definitely. I will start doing that then. I will go back into, and I also boost things that will be engaging just to bring people to my page, like the post, whenever I do posts on eliminating debt, that does really well for me. So naturally, and anything that's on doctoring organically does really well for, in terms of organic engagement for me. So those take a little bit more effort for me to create those posts. And I just have to put a little bit more thought into it, but those always do better too. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate everything that you shared. That was awesome.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you for being on. We appreciate it.
All right.
I recorded it, so if you want, I'll be posting it on my YouTube if you want to have it for future.
Okay. Awesome.
All right. Thanks for being on, guys. Have a good night.
Bye.